to Game 3, Silent Gaming and Servette Geneva. Jay. Joining me, as he always does, is Digital Bacon. And Servette had a pretty dominant performance against the Silent side. Again, sort of the result that we were expecting. But at the same time, again, it's new week, new LAN. Obviously, being at Switzerland, Silent Gaming are going to be playing together as a three-man unit. And we would sort of bring up the topic of whether that LAN environment will be able to affect some teams' perspectives on how they're going to be able to play. So I just wanted to probe you real quick. Do you think Silent might be able to take something away from Servette on this series?
Yeah, yes, I do. I really do. Sir, again, at that LAN event, every team here is essentially at this LAN event. Sir doing very well against Helvets, and clearly, who knows, LAN events could be their strong point, because today we saw how they had stepped up another level and looked like a top contender in League in this form. With Masters cutting it very close to Arctic, but just not close enough. A really good series between both those teams nonetheless. Now, Silent Gaming, I want to say, if it happens, and I don't know, I'm quickly looking at the roster, they've got Synox today, Cactic, and Italy. So Cactic stepping on in to replace Syntax, it seems.
Oh,
This is going to be a questionable one, because we've seen when Cactic steps in to replace Synox, it's just not good enough. Synox being a big part of their defense to Silent Gaming. I think still the strongest defender in the entire of the league. But Syntax for Silent Gaming was a great middleman who could put off pop shot. Italy, for me, has been the question throughout this league play. In qualifiers, he was nuts as an aggressor. But here, his striking ability, it almost seems like he's a bit too nervous. He's not really willing to risk it, and he's the player that needs to risk it. So what I'm hoping today is Cactic pulls up, Syntax's middleman role, and Italy just puts it all on his shoulders, essentially, this striking force, and goes ham.
Yeah, and obviously you're taking such a big part of the talent pool away from the Silent side in the form of Syntax. Like, as soon as I wasn't actually checking the roster themselves, but as soon as you said Syntax is out, I was that's where my faith seemed to have collapsed. Right, not guess. That's where my my faith seems to collapse. I think in Silent Gaming, because I think the Syntax is such a key player around the style of Silent, of the way that Silent play. And yeah, just to remove him is like a massive nothing against Cactic himself, but there's a difference between replacing Synox and replacing Syntax.
You're replacing the captain.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. Synox is the backbone of the team. I'm going to say it now, because he is the defense. He is near enough the sole defender in a lot of sense. He's what they build out from, and that's where they get a lot of their plays. Taking out the captain, that is Syntax, takes out what I'd imagine to be a large part of the communications. Normally you rely upon your captain to near enough start and direct your team about. So this is going to be a big question here. Cactic, he did fairly well last week. As a sub, he did his job. It was still a loss, but again, you expect it against Servette, and Cactic played very well as the games went on. Again, looking at it, 3-0 start, 6-0, and then 3-1. Only one goal being scored, and I do believe that was actually from Cactic as well. He was stepping into roster, and what he did at the start was actually fill in more of an attacking player, and then throughout the series, in Game 3 especially, it fell back and became more of a defensive player. We're going to have to see how he's going to fit in here. If he plays again as an attacking player, which he does sort of need to do more with Synox on the squad, it could work. Who knows? We'll have to see how it goes on. Silent Gaming here, though, they're going up against Servette Geneva, Jay, so taking this moment to bring in your sub isn't the worst idea ever, because even if they had the full roster, this would have been a super hard match for them to win. On paper, this pretty much doesn't change much.
Yeah, and I was going to pick Servette to win this one anyway, unfortunately. They are top 2 in the league right now, only tied, saying it's 6-1. They've only lost a single series so far. Just even just taking a look at the baseline roster, removing Cactic and putting Syntax back into the main team, it just feels like Servette should have this one anyway. So it depends really how much of a curveball it's going to throw in bringing in Cactic for the Silent side, to be honest. We still don't know exactly how that's going to fit in. Again, you're replacing a pretty key member in the captain. So you know, going into this whole thing, I'm actually going to say 3-0 on this one. I feel Servette are probably going to be able to take the ball by the horns. Again, it depends on how much tactics is going to show up and how much of a curveball that's going to be against the Servette side.
Yeah, again, it's got to be 3-0. I'm hoping these lads, like I said, have gone through and done the research. They are definitely a team of hard workers. It's going to be 3-0. I reckon pretty much. And this is not a jab at Syntax at all, but I think it's going to be closer than last week. Purely because, like I said, Synox being in the roster, they needed strong defense. Every team needs strong defense against Servette because of how strong they are in their attack. So I think Synox is going to be better there, but they only got 1 goal last time, and I'm expecting a very similar affair here.
Yeah, well, let's see whether it will be a similar affair, because game 1 is about to go live between the Servette Silent side of the pitch. In the orange section, it's going to be Servette Geneva, or maybe not. Okay, okay, there we go. Everyone's back in. We're ready to go here for game 1 of our 3rd series of the day. It's kickoff. Sack will challenge Cactic. A nice start for Sack himself. Flav gaining that control. It's Italy back in towards the corner. However, ball centered up for Sack's position. It's off the crossbar. Dunked down by Servette. Trying to see if he can put it on net. Not going to quite work. However, Synox taking control. Flav will challenge for Italy on the follow through. It's Sack with the ball back in, getting a good shot on target, defended by Cactic as the rotations are thick and fast from Silent Gaming. Flav in, Synox back out. Sack taking that control as Flav gets demoed out the position against the fair, going to try to begin dunking down. Close range positions for a 3rd man to come through, but there is no 3rd man in play. It's Cactic to clear, keep things at least, you know, modest right now for Servette.
Yeah, Silent weathering through that initial storm of pressure that their opponents are putting on. And what I'm liking here, Jay, is actually Synox is getting a little bit more aggressive to pull in. And all 3 players are sort of now, instead of playing 1 defender, 2 sort of attackers downfield, like what you see quite often in Rocket League. Instead, they're playing the opposite one, which is like a beautiful little Triforce. You've got all 3 players turning it around and everyone filling in a role. Wow. The problem is... these happen.
Yeah, the passing plays, I imagine this will come through eventually, and Sack receiving it from the clear. That's the first now scored by Servette. Just as we go past that 1st minute marker of game 1. So unfortunately, that's the way that Silent had to bow out initially in that one, but still a little over 3 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. Servette taking the early kickoff advantage, and Flav so back into the mid position, passing over to Sack, who gets it perfectly off that backboard. Double touch to come through. No. Cactic takes it away. It's Flav back in for the pass play. A little bit too wide on this one. Fair still trying to come towards that corner. Actually takes it all the way through. Close. Oh. He gets it in eventually. 2-0 Servette. Styling their way to victory.
What's the most disturbing thing about this is how Sack did come in for the assistance and that actually pulled out, and Flav was far back in the left midfield. This was all the Sapphire show. It was just all him.
Now all in control of Servette right now. Sack going to keep that one going. A lot of offensive pressure coming through from Servette onto the Silent side. Close but no cigar on that initial shot. Cactic will take the control back away, get the 100 boost at the midfield. Pass back in towards Synox's position, but he can't quite seem to find him. Synox a little bit too far wide to the right. Italy going back in for a secondary follow-up. Flav trying to get the defensive together. Now they're just holding it down here on the Servette side. Synox back into the centre. Flav and Sack double commit towards that defensive line. Followed up by Servette, who gets it past Italy. The clear's so good from the Servette side. Synox does get it past them on the offensive line. Italy trying to bump Sack out the way, got close towards it again. Not going to happen here. Synox able to keep the ball going, and Silent Gaming have reversed the offensive pressure that Servette initially against.
You can see a lot of nerves as well on Cactic here, Jay, where he's going for a double commit, some double commit, sorry. And of course, he's just jumping at the ball. He's trying to be this like super aggressive, like force player, where essentially he's going in for these 50-50s, hopefully get an opportunity. Italy's coming out with some demos, which is nice. But this is what I'm saying there from Cactic. He's just too eager. He needs to calm down and get himself set into this game. It's what we have seen from him last week, where near enough he takes a game or two to near enough get himself relaxed, where he's got these nerves coming into this, but he's got to do it faster this week.
Yeah, because a game or two is all Servette really need to take full control of this series, you know. 2-0 at that point, a third one taken, and there you go. This is the week of a series against the Silent side. Right now they're looking extremely good here in game one to take it. Still 2-0 with 1:30 on the clock still to go. It's all the offensive pressure once again between the clears coming through. Zaffair going to try to take a shot off the backboard. Close range, Sack to recover it, defended again by the rotators incoming. It's actually Flav that follows through off the back of it, and it's a 3-0.
Just a brilliant setup play here, coming out from Sack to put that back up in the air. Flav drops it down brilliantly. One defender in net doing all he can do, covering as much space, trying to close out that ball. But unfortunately, Flav just too good a shot. Sends it to the ground and sends it to 3-0.
Looking extremely good for Servette. Silent going to be able to hold a defensive down for the moment here, but eventually of these balls is going to go through, and there are only 60 seconds left to go on the clock. You can imagine that's going to be lights out for game one. The Silent Gaming side take it back into the midfield, try to see if they can get a good shot up to the orange half, but it's just not happening. Servette going to keep control of the defense, control of the clears. That pass back in towards the center. It's Fair to take control of that one, but Synox pushing it back through once again into the midfield where Italy remains. Zach back in, centered up, good shot on target, and no one's in the defense. Synox just gets back in time, pushes it to the left-hand side. Keeps Silent at least in with a chance, but a goal every 10 seconds, the 30-second marker sounds. Things are starting to run out of time here for the Silent side. Flav going to be able to defend it, Sack to keep the ball away from Silent players. Nice pinch commit, it goes just off the crossbar, but Synox will still get credited with the goal from a little bit of an defensive mishap.
Well, no, it's good from Synox. Just saw the opportunity and jumped at it. Once again, you can see a little bit of eagerness from Cactic there, which I'm sure the break in between games is going to be good. The lads need to talk, essentially, Jay. We're not seeing that at all at the moment. There's not many passing plays, if any, coming out from Silent Gaming. I'm being very harsh here between them, I know, guys, but it's because this is such a little, like, I say a little thing, but one thing that they could improve upon, and it would be massive for their gameplay, because 3-1 so far, this is a great start from them if you take it in comparison to last week.
Yeah, you know, as you say, they only scored one goal in their entire series last week. So this is already already on track to equalize against that particular. So just got to get one more goal and they would have had an improvement of sorts. Whether that will actually be worth you, I'm not actually 100% sure, but of course that's a discussion topic for another day. For now, it's just Servette taking the opening game of our best of 5. Silent, with some adjustments to be made going into game 2. Let's see how well the kickoffs will go and whether those, you say, you know, Cactic will start to simmer down a little bit, whether there'll be some adjustments, whether Silent will be able to turn a game on its head, try and deny that match point as early as we've seen them so far. It's kick-off for game 2, going to the favour of Sack and Flab. Servette early control, actually turned by Cactic. He's going to go for a second backboard shot coming out, but Synox just defended against by Zaffair, who gets it back towards his midfield player. Flav over towards Sack now. Defended by another back here in the form of Italy. Zaffair still takes control of the ball. Nice flick towards the shot, but can't quite follow it all the way around. It's captured with the defensive, and now followed back up by a clear coming in from the Silent side. Flav able to return it just as quickly, however. Ping pong in the early 30 seconds. Great offensive pressure coming through, however. It's going to be returned off the backboard. It's a good shot set up, centered up, close, but Synox just bumped out of the way. Servette managed to hold on to zeros.
Yep, holding on. That is good. We can see now a lot more pressure coming out from Sun, but they've got to be careful. You can see a lot of overcommitment. Synox definitely now thinking that he has to follow through with that defense. We saw him in that last game going a lot more aggressive. Here, he's calming down a bit. Italy as well has been putting in a lot of defense, which is interesting to see from him. I was, like I said before this, expecting him to really go all-out attack and try and be just a brute force upfield.
Oh no! Oh, speaking of all-out attack, it's all-out attack on the Silent side, and Servette are going to find the clear that they need to punish that. Watch this. no one in the net. No one even in the blue half of Silent Gaming, and that's really just one of the worst ways to...
Yeah, really unfortunate there. But, Jay, it's only one goal. 1 minute 15 into this series. It's a lot slower than last time. And this is now a good attack from Silent.
Close, but no cigar. It's a phrase I've loved today, it seems, so far today. I mean, it has going to be relatively appropriate for the moment in time. This one will be close and certainly on the money, but not quite there again. Again, no cigar. Over to the wide left-hand side of the Servette goal. I'm going to try and control it here to waste a little bit of time as a fair. Just going to keep it all away and gets it out towards Flav in the midfield. Again, a nice challenge against these players from the Silent side. They can keep the pressure going. Sack demoing out Silent to try and get rid of the clear potential. Won't be too successful for Servette, so I'm still going to be able to clear back in, but very quickly it's taken back control on the part of Sack with the shot on target. Cactic can defend it. Flav out to the left side instead of into the centre. Dangerously clearing that ball inside the danger box. A fair, great challenge, however, out-reading the way that Silent are going to play these challenges, and they're able to get the 50-50s won as a result of it. Back into the blue half it will go, but only temporarily. And looking like Silent are doing great with the defensive clears coming out. Doesn't mean that the pressure is applied to Servette's back net, but still nothing being scored at the halfway marker. Italy with a chance, dunking it down, defended by Zafair, close again from the blue half of the pitch.
This strength is all coming out from Silent, focusing on that midfield defense, Jay, and it is great to see. The lads have realised where they can get a bit of strength from. They've realised that their opponents have just scored in their net. Ouch.
That's a rip. Off the backboard, they didn't expect Sack to come through, but Sack read the angle perfectly. 2-0 now for Servette. Oh boy, it's looking a little bit more rough than the first game on Bacon. Maybe Silent can pull back in and score another goal right here, right now, but you know, we're talking about how Silent need to adjust against Servette, but Servette have seemed to adjust against Silent because they're not letting anything in so far. Silent have had a lot of offensive pressure in the orange half, but none of it has amounted to a goal of any sort so far.
This is good though, Cactic forcing the ball up into the air that needs to follow through here. Servette just showing their caliber, their class to be able to hold out on the line. Again, this is why Silent needs that midfield line. It's why they're trying to hammer it home, because they've got to build up pressure to try and find the cracks in Servette. And at the moment, it seems like they are a well-maintained wall.
Oh man, the pressure once it gets to Silent, it just makes them crack. And that is a case in point right there. Servette now 3-0 up off the back of another great goal. A goal apiece as well for each Servette players, so they're kind of contributing equally. Of course, not including the saves or the assists or the shots coming out. 1 minute and 20 is the bottom line for Silent Gaming. They have to recover this, or they'll be conceding match points. Servette would love to take another sweep right here, right now, and they're getting close towards it. Goal almost set up towards that blue half. It's a fair challenge by Cactic. He takes it back into the blue half, passing back towards Cyanox, who takes it from the corner position. Low on boost, 14 only. Fortunately, Itty has a lot more, and he will be able to deny the ball out towards this midfield position. It's Flav in, trying to pass to Zafair. He's demoed out. Flav will just take it anyway. Pass back towards Sack as well. It's perfectly positioned, but Cactic pinches it away from the angle, keeping it away from the net, at least for the moment.
40 seconds. From here on out, Silent have got to start preparing themselves for game number 3. Because game number 2, unfortunately, Jay, is done. It is over with that 4th goal.
Yeah. A lot of dominant games we're finding so far from most of the teams today. It's quite interesting how the LAN environment will change things. 4-0. And yeah, Servette just looking like such a god tier team, and Silent Gaming in dire straits essentially. And as you say, they're going to have to focus on game 3 and focus on the reverse sweep. It's not impossible, but the way that Servette have been playing, I think it's very, very unlikely. 15 seconds left, all a formality. Zafair passes inland inside the box, trying to see if he can score a 5th, a final potentially. Cleared back eventually, however, by Cyanox. Cactic off the backboard, pitched away, returned back to the blue half. It looks like this one's touching the floor. We are going to be 2-0 up
Servette just doing work. It seems like another day at the office for them. Just doing what they do best, and that is winning. Just notice though, Silent Gaming have been putting the shots on due to that midfield control, Jay. Between them, they've got 6 shots. Compare that over to the 9 of Servette. The difference here is that Silent Gaming had just been going directly at net. They're not looking for these backball passing plays. They're not looking for each other. Once again, it's just a lot of bash it at the net. Hope it goes in. If it doesn't, maybe a second player can come pick it up and keep this pressure going. No. Passing plays need to start linking up from Silent Gaming. It is once again a case of they're not working as a team. It's almost like they're playing solo standard if you're comparing it to rank for the guys at home. Servette here, though, they're structured. They know what to do with each other to the point that they know where each other are just naturally because they've got that chemistry.
And the thing you've got to consider as well is that how much is that down to them placing their captain, Cactic, coming into Syntax, and now suddenly they don't look like a team anymore. They look like, as you say, they're playing solo standard. So, you know, I'm not trying to draw parallels, but it's very, very weird how the parallels can very easily be drawn. That was me.
It definitely shows that Syntax is clearly the player on the team, because you've got the sort of 2 styles. Everyone calling where they are themselves and everyone communicating. Or you have generally a captain who shouts out where everyone should be, you know, doing stuff like center it and all of that, where they can see what's going on around them. Here, you definitely don't have that, and so the team just feels disjointed, almost like they're missing a link in the chain. Sak is a monster at times though with goals like this.
Yeah, watch this, because they had so much offensive pressure, and Sak immediately got it past 2 of the defenders in the midfield. And just like that, Servette go from being on the back foot to scoring the opener. Like, that really is how good this team is. That's the kind of thing you look at and say, right, well, Dignitas can do that, so can Servette.
Yeah, and the problem there for Silent anyway is Sak had planned everything there. You saw how he went to the inside of the ball and went for that block ahead of time. He wanted his opponent to hit into him. He knew it was going to happen. And so it's always like the saying of played him like a fiddle, just so perfectly done there.
In the opening minute, it's all that will be found by the Servette side. Fortunately enough for Silent Gaming, they remain within 1 of the lead. So a return is possible. You can see Sonic trying to set up a passing play towards Cactic, but Cactic too far back, couldn't quite get it in position. It's Sak once again off the backboard. It's going to get returned by Cactic and co on the defense. It's Fair into the danger box. Sak the follow through, pinching off Fair. The ball's going to get dangerously close towards that net. Lamb going to try to see if he can follow through with it. It's out-faked and outplayed there on the part of Italy. Tries to return the ball twice from that corner. Goes past all the entire Servette side. And close towards that net again. Fair just killing it. The defensive is great, but not great enough. Synox is going to score the 2nd goal for Silent Gaming so far.
Yeah, Cactic tried it. You could see the progression from Italy as well into the box. They listened to us, Jay, or at least they figured out the same as what we had, that they've got to start getting those passing plays going. Unfortunately, just didn't really connect there. Good follow through though in the defense as a 3rd man.
Oh, the pin! Fair! Oh my word! No one saw this coming, not even me.
No, straight from center, great opportunity moment. Again, as always, Jay, if you can't really think about putting it safely to the corners, just pressure your opponents, put it on net, hopefully making them sweat, use a bit of boost and allow yourself to gain that time. So Fair just played that perfectly and came up on top.
2-1 on the board for Servette. Keeping this pressure rolling once again. We're going right back into that blue half. Fair maybe on goal. Italy just pinching it to go to the left-hand side. That's fortunate enough on that one. Synox going to try to blow it through here towards that midfield, but I'm going to do a quick 180. Not going to help you out with that front, so once again, ball goes off the backboard. Italy comes through. Secondary angle, it's Fair that pinches it off into the corner, out towards Sak's position. It's defended once again as Synox takes control away. It's Fair past 1. Sak to feed it back towards Flav here in the midfield. Runs it back off the ceiling, going for the flip reset goal. This could be beautiful, but Synox does read it. Unfortunately, it's going onto the ground, so at the half-time marker, he will save another. It's a bet. Still getting close towards that net. Saxon, so we can dunk it down close towards it. He may find it. Indeed, he does. That's the second time we've seen that goal play come out. Servette will take it in.
Yeah, last time was Sapphire, and here's Sax showing that he can do it as well. Do you reckon the team that Servette have like a little training pack between themselves with that goal in mind?
I think they might have. I think they might have it as part of their playbook. A majorly strategic game, but when you pull out consistent players like that, you know you've got it practiced. I feel like they might have something like that in their playbook. And certainly it's effective, you know, the dunk it down, especially when the defensive does not look 100% like it does from Silent Gaming. You can get it past their line, suddenly you're looking golden. And even their offensive isn't looking that great either. You saw the positions being played out there. It didn't really work up for them. Servette are quickly going to be able to get that clear once again. You can't allow them to do that because they are looking so on fire right now, Baker.
They are indeed. Silent now, 1 minute, 40 seconds remaining, Jay, to find 2 goals. And
oh, what?
Just make that 3 goals. And secondly, Servette just made this look so free. He had so much control over this.
How is that allowed? How did Silent let that through? That is... Oh, geez. 1 minute and 30 left to go on the clock. The ball will get cleared into the orange half, oh sorry, the blue half initially from the Servette side. Silent going to gain control of the kickoff in the interim. But yeah, this is really not looking great at all. It's Cactic to defend it. Once again, it goes on the backboard, nearly misses. You can't do that, not right now, because you know Flav's going to exploit a mistake like that. It's 5-1 to the favor of Servette.
Well, that last goal, Jay, was, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back, essentially. And this one is going... This is all one-sided now. Unfortunately, it's really harsh to say. But Silent Gaming are just looking for goals. They're going to throw a lot into the attack, forget about the defense because they want to get some consolation goals, and this is the problem.
6-1. Can we see the Brazil? I think question on everybody's minds at this point. Like, there's no way Silent are coming back from this, unfortunately. Sucks to say it, but I really don't see a way back in the way that Servette are playing, the way that Silent have been unable to counteract for it. Well, they'll deny the Brazil by scoring their second off the kickoff, so there's at least a little bit of dignity recovered from them.
Good follow-up from Cactic. No one expecting that for Servette. Maybe, like I said, just expecting their opponents to be completely deflated and sort of give it on over. But no, well done, Cactic, keeping his head up, getting that goal. And like you said, Brazil... at least denying it is somewhat an achievement in its own right. It's basically bigging it up, denying your opponents that sort of like memery at the end.
Yeah, so dignity saved, but unfortunately this series, not so much. 40 seconds on the clock. Got to find 4 goals, 10 seconds apiece. It's less than likely with all the control favouring the Servette side. The Sack takes it into the corner. 30-second marker sounds. Servette redirecting it into the centre. Going to get cleared away by Synox at the very least. Sack very quickly receiving it. Pass back towards Flav's position. Cactic passing it all the way downfield. Going to get it onto the backboard. Defended come through from Flav. Keeps control. Servette takes it away. The final 10-second countdown begins. We all know what's up. We all know this is going to be yet another 3-0 sweep. Servette puts in a hat-trick just for good measure. 7-2 will be on the board for Servette.
The amount of control that Servette has with his Batmobile is nuts, and then of course putting the flick on is what the car is known for the strongest, essentially, is being able to get so much power behind those flicks. Servette knows that car so well. Close, nearly got the third there signed, but unfortunately not going to be, and Servette take today in such a convincing fashion once again.
Some very, very convincing games we've seen so far here today, Bacon. Like, this is a very weird week, and that's a statement to how these teams perform on land, and now I cannot wait for the finals when they come up later on during December. But for the time being, unfortunately, it's Silent taking another 3-0 loss. If I recall correctly as well, this is a bit of a losing streak they've had going on for a number of weeks now.
Unfortunately, so.
Yeah, this we'll have to bring the update specifically because I can't do the math on top of my head right now. But yeah, that leaves 3 of our games played out. The 4th still coming up on your screens. Another rematch from last week. It's Lausanne versus the Monks side. Don't go anywhere. We've got one more best of 5 to play.